Hey Cancer, this is your bi-weekly reading, and we are going from the new moon on December 12th in Sagittarius in tropical astrology to, I'm feeling that one, to the full moon on on December 26th, just after the Christmas holiday, if you celebrate Christmas. So that's the period of time that we are looking at. So for those of you who have not been here before, welcome. These are short videos that are meant to just give a little extra guidance a little extra guidance to move through, more incremental parts of the month as opposed to just like the month overall, which those typically are longer readings. These are just meant to be helpful in betweens to help us kind of like have guidance along the way. For those of you who are normal watchers, and you might have noticed it's been a little quiet around here lately, I am pausing the monthly videos. So the monthly videos, I just had to take a step back for about, I think 2 weeks, it was about 2 weeks, and just kind of reassess, like with the holidays and appointments and, just some other things that I have a pretty full plate right now. There are a lot of other things that are factors, and something had to give. So I had to reevaluate and see like, well, what do I realistically have time for? And some of these things I will talk to you guys about on the other side of the holidays. I just can't, it's gotta be hush hush for right now. So I will talk to you about it then, but just wanted to kind of give you guys a heads up. I will still be doing these. So the bi-weeklies, I'll still do them. I'll be doing astrology highlights as I can. That's also going to be kind of diminished in like how often I do them, just because also from what I just said. So anyway, let's take a look at what we're looking at for this period of time. So whenever I do these readings, at least this is the way it's been, this is the format I'm choosing to stick with for a little while longer at least, is we're looking at this 2-week period of time, and this happens to be the waxing phase. So we're looking at a time in the month where no matter what's happening in the astrology, the building of the moon, it does impact us, our lives, right? It's probably the one closest to us that really affects us. And we are looking at that energy building. And so therefore, that's why people are like setting intentions and planting seeds and, building momentum towards certain things. And so in these readings, we're looking at what will maximize your results in a way that would, if you put time, energy, and attention into this area of your life, would best benefit and ripple out and affect all areas of your life. So that's what we're really looking at here. And what kind of advice or guidance are you getting along with that connected to that? So for you, Cancer, and this is for Cancer risings or Cancer sun signs, right? So for you, we have the 12th house, right? And it's interesting, right? The 12th house is one of those houses where not everyone gets super excited about this particular card, and I can understand why, but it's definitely a deep going within. And I can say that that's really fitting for this particular time of the year. It may seem counterintuitive because of all of the holiday parties and like the holidays coming up and like all this stuff. However, this is still winter for if you're in the Northern Hemisphere at least. And this is still a time where like people tend to really reflect, and go inwards. So even if you're not in the Northern Hemisphere, like this is a time where we tend to do some inward reflection and look ahead at like, wow, okay, so this is what's happened over the last year. Where am I now? Where am I compared to what I wanted? And like, what do I want now? And what do I want to do next? And what's coming up this next year for me? So this can be that kind of time. And the 12th house is definitely a more internal kind of space. It is a more solitary place. Sometimes for people, it can feel lonely, but it can be a place that if we choose to focus our time and attention into, can be incredibly powerful to create space and time to be alone with ourselves, to have some solace and to reflect, to feel into what we are currently feeling about our lives, ourselves, whatever else is going on in our lives, whatever thoughts or beliefs or things are present with us, and to try to get some quiet and some calm, serene time to check in with ourselves. Now, I also think that this is a really good time to do this because of it is the calendar year. This is what a lot of people really work with. This is what fits nicely into little packages with all of our like work and career schedules for the most part. There are those of us who feel like we associate more with like maybe winter solstice being the beginning of the year, or even some people who feel like the spring equinox is that time. But it does fit very well into our calendar year as far as like, 2024, it is turning this big page collectively. And so this is a really good time for that. Not only that, but same day that we have this new moon on the 12th, a few hours later, we're going to have Mercury enter into retrograde. As we all know, this happens 3 to 4 times a year, so it's nothing to freak out about, but it can be annoying, you know, but it is an opportunity, if we look at it that way, to see the being slowed down, the speed bumps that appear, that show up, to have us slow down to reflect. And so this can be a time of reflection. Also, the 12th house has to do with things like very much associated with like altered states of consciousness, like meditation, or like plant medicine journeys. Not that I'm advocating that. I'm not saying yes or no. I don't want to get in trouble for anything. I'm just saying like those kinds of medicine journeys and things like that are associated with this particular house as well. It's really kind of a time where like this house is a place where it's like the things that are hidden in our psyche and the things that just exist there, the things that we may not necessarily always make time and put our attention into, but is quite necessary for our mental health, right? This is like your mental emotional health for sure. So I would encourage you to do any and all things that are related to keeping that in good, healthy order. And it seems like the advice that's coming through, as like along with that, the guidance that's coming along through with that, is tapping into your intuition in order to make the decisions about which paths you want to take coming up on the horizon, right? So this, out of the swords cards, I feel is probably one of the more watery ones, right? We've got the water in the background, we've got the moon, and you know, like you can see she's blindfolded and needing to like tap into her internal senses, her internal self, her going inward, and to tap into her intuition in order to make this decision about which direction she's going to go, about which path she's going to go, about which things she's going to choose. You know, she's not like, there are many other ways that somebody could choose, but she's getting still, right? And we see there's a lot of water, a lot of intuition, a lot of that here present here. And so I feel this goes very nicely with this particular card, you know, and also like this new moon that we're starting out this approximate 2 week period of time with, is also going to be making an aspect that's a little challenging to Neptune. And Neptune is that like kind of watery, like nebulous, no boundaries kind of abyss. And that can maybe even feel like we're having a challenging time getting into that space of clarity. And so I would just encourage over that 2 week period of time to find and carve out time for yourself to like come back to however it is that you can best serve your mental, emotional health, and come back into that state. If that's meditation, if that's journal free writing, if that's whatever that is, so that you can move into these states, so you can start to feel into like, what are you being intuitively told or guided towards? How are you making the decisions about what's going to happen next? Like which direction you're going to go. If you're planning a move, or if you're planning to like a new career path, or if you're planning, you know, something, whatever it is, these are ways to come back into yourself, right? So that's what we're looking at here. If you are curious and wanting to plan and schedule your 2024 year ahead reading with me, whether that is a tarot year ahead reading with me, or whether that is an astrology year ahead, or even looking like more deeply into like the first quarter of the year or first couple quarters of the year, the information for how to book that is down below. So I just want to let you guys know that I will, by the time this is up, I will have updated my calendar, and there probably won't be a ton of spots. So if you want to get it in before January, I would say take a look as soon as you can. I do think that January is still a really powerful time to really get this kind of insight and to help with planning and what's going forward. So I would say looking forward, maybe just booking that as soon as you can to make sure that you do get in for January if you're wanting to get in before the end of January. So thank you for your time. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please give the video a like. It really does help, and subscribe if you haven't already. Please share it with a friend if you think that they would enjoy this, or you like thought of them when you were listening to this. You're like, oh my God, they need to hear this. So, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks. Bye.